personalities today because they're so dangerous. But that's what they used when I did the film. I still have them because it's a time when people were tougher. Sorry, they were.
Sylvester Stallone, the action hero who basically built Hollywood on his biceps, is now taking a swing at something new: political correctness in Hollywood. Stallone thinks it's watering down movies, making them less emotional and powerful. But why is this Hollywood legend fighting against these changes? And more importantly, what does it mean for the movies we love? Is Stallone starting a revolution? Or just yelling without being heard? Lately, Hollywood's been getting heat for being too politically correct and shoving diversity down our throats, according to some industry veterans. And leading the charge against this shift is none other than Sylvester Stallone himself, the guy who practically invented action movies in the 80s, all about raw emotion and blowing stuff up. Stallone's not just complaining. He truly believes Hollywood is messing with the magic of movies by trying to fit a certain agenda. Basically, he thinks Hollywood's forgotten about telling great stories that hit you in the gut. And he's not stopping there.
Pants, going with your gut instinct is over. For example, when Rocky would never be made today. This never would have happened. It's over. Majority. The Godfather wouldn't be made today.
So, Sly Stallone's not happy with the way Hollywood's rolling these days. He's throwing punches at this whole political correctness thing, saying it's putting a chokehold on creativity. Stallone thinks filmmakers should have the freedom to tell stories however they want, but now they have to tiptoe around what's okay to say. This, according to Sly, kills creativity. He feels like filmmakers are being forced to make movies that are all about ticking boxes. You have to be inclusive, you have to push social justice messages, instead of just focusing on telling a good story with well-developed characters. And for a guy like Stallone, who built his career on raw, powerful storytelling, this trend is a major buzzkill. He believes movies are supposed to entertain us, make us think, and take us on a journey. But lately, it feels like everything's gotta be some kind of social or political lecture. In Stallone's eyes, this turns films into tools for social engineering, not works of art. It's not just talk for Sly, though. On his movie sets, he fights for creative freedom. He doesn't want anything to do with what he calls woke ideas being shoved down everyone's throat. Reports say he keeps his sets focused on keeping things real and tough, just like his classic films. For example, in his latest project, Tulsa King, Sly kind of throws shade at this whole woke culture thing. It's not super obvious, but it's there in the characters and plot. It's Sly's way of saying his piece without getting preachy and derailing the story.
You think the motion picture business is changing such that streaming is taking over, and you think the motion picture industry as you knew it, it'll thrive?
Well, yeah, I don't think it's going to ever have the golden era that it's had.
But hold on, Sly's outspokenness isn't winning him awards from everyone in Hollywood. This ain't just a creative difference about a script or a character. This is about Sly going toe-to-toe with political correctness in the industry, and it's getting heated. Some people are gossiping about blacklisting him. Can you believe it? Rocky Balboa getting the boot for having an opinion? Crazy, right? It's like a real-life movie drama. Some bigwigs want to push Sly out of the spotlight, making it harder for him to get his projects made. This isn't just a fight about movies. It's a clash over what movies should even be about. Basically, Sly wants to tell stories his way, and some folks in Hollywood want things done differently. But that's not the only drama. Alright, things get a bit messy now. There's been some nasty buzz about Sly being a tyrant on set, yelling at crew members, and making things miserable. But hold on, there's another side to the story. The director working with Stallone, kind of like his on-set mediator, is totally defending him. He says these claims are way off base. Maybe there were some misunderstandings or bad casting choices, but Sly being disrespectful? Nah, that's crazy talk. The dude's a legend who treats everyone on set with respect. It feels like some folks might be blowing things out of proportion, maybe because they don't agree with Sly's views. Look, the whole Stallone situation is wild. It shows how divided things are in Hollywood. One of Hollywood's biggest stars is getting heat, not for being untalented or unpassionate, but for his beliefs on how his own projects should be made. It's like some people are booing him instead of cheering for the awesome movies he's given us, just because he's not playing by their new rules. But guess what? Sly isn't backing down. He's standing his ground, defending his views, and making the movies he believes in. It's like watching Rocky in the final round. Beat up but never giving in, ready to fight another round for what he believes is right. Speaking of which, let's flash back to old school Hollywood. Back then, it was all about big stories, even bigger characters, and let's not forget, a whole lot of muscle. Remember those classic Stallone films like Rocky and Rambo? Those movies were all about raw emotion, gripping stories, and of course, explosions. Directors and writers had the freedom to take chances, explore new themes, and make movies that hit you right in the feels. Nobody was worried about some checklist of do's and don'ts. They just made movies.
Comedy and art disturbs. Comedy and art disturbs.
Stallone looks back on those days as the golden age of filmmaking. You could basically say anything, show anything. It was all about the art, making a connection with the audience. That freedom, man, it pumped out some of the most iconic movies ever. But fast forward to today, and things are different. Now, everything's gotta be super careful, not offend anyone, have to include everyone. Don't get me wrong, inclusivity is awesome. But some people, like Stallone, say it's come at a cost. Movies these days feel more like lectures than the thrill rides we used to love. It's all about checking boxes and making sure nothing rubs anyone the wrong way. This, according to Stallone and many fans, sucks the life out of movies, leaving them predictable and, well, kind of boring.
Starting in 2024, films will be required to meet new inclusion standards to be eligible for the Academy Awards for Best Picture. They'll have to have a certain percentage of actors or crew from underrepresented racial and ethnic groups.
And Sly, he's not holding back on this. He misses the days when directors could just tell a story straight up without worrying about getting canceled for not following the latest trends. He's a bit of a rebel for this, you see, because he keeps that old school, tough vibe alive in his projects. For Stallone, it's about keeping the heart and soul of cinema alive, telling stories that hit you hard and feel real, not some watered-down version. This clash between the old guard and the new Hollywood isn't just about reliving the past. It's about what makes movies truly special. Stallone and many others fear that if Hollywood keeps prioritizing political correctness over raw passion, that magic might disappear forever.
I would pretty much say that, yeah. I think if you could do a couple of indies to learn your chops of sorts, but the day of...
That's where Tulsa King comes in. This show's basically Sly's playground to express his views and show off the old-school charm he thinks is missing these days. He plays a tough-as-nails gangster fresh out of prison, trying to navigate a world that's become way softer while he was away. Sound familiar? Maybe a little bit like Stallone himself battling with Hollywood? You might be onto something there, and here's a perfect example. There's one scene in Tulsa King that got everyone buzzing. Stallone's character goes off on a whole rant about pronouns. You know, the he/she/they debate. Now, it's part of the script, but word on the street is Sly might be putting some extra oomph into it. Like, maybe he's letting his own character sneak in his own thoughts on the whole thing. It's a classic actor's move, right? Using your role to poke fun at what you see as the craziness of the world. Fans are loving it. They see these scenes as Sly speaking directly to them, venting about this whole overly sensitive world we live in. It's like he's using his tough guy persona to have a real heart-to-heart with the audience about keeping it real and not getting weighed down in all the political correctness drama. These moments in Tulsa King are starting major conversations, and that's what Sly does best: get people talking. Sly mixes entertainment with his anti-political correctness views, and it's working. He's gotten criticism and blacklisting rumors, but fans love his straight shooting style. They feel Hollywood's gotten too cautious. Tulsa King shows Stallone isn't backing down. He's making his voice heard, creating a niche for himself. This isn't just for old-school action fans. It's for anyone who wants unfiltered dialogue. So, Stallone's career is about more than movies. He's using them to make a statement, challenge the norm, and remind us that cinema can challenge times, not just reflect them. All right, enough from me. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below.